Let's get a quick take on U.S. Representative Mike Coffman making national news this week following a statement he made in reference to White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer at a town hall meeting on Wednesday. Coffman said he doesn't think Spicer is, quote, serving the president well and, quote, needs to go, in response to a citizen asking about the press secretary's comments regarding Hitler. Patty Calhoun from Westward. Mike Coffman's town hall made a lot of headlines locally for the tone, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But these comments about Sean Spicer made national news. What did you make of them?
Well, he should send the person who asked him that question flowers, because all of a sudden, Mike Coffman, who hadn't had a town hall meeting since the start of the year, is making national news. It's PR 101 that you do not ever bring up Hitler unless maybe you're talking about Hitler on you're in Germany and it's a horrible anniversary there, but it never is going to go well. And I think sooner or later we will see that Sean Spicer is gone, and fortunately there's probably going to be an opening at United Airlines for a PR person. That
or Pepsi Cola. David Kopel of the Independence Institute and DU Law School. Do you think the town hall was a success for Coffman, seeing the kind of crowd he had and some of the questions we saw, that it was pretty brutal in some highlight reels?
Yes, because he came out and he answered the questions and gave the people who actually wanted to ask a question and listen to an answer the appropriate opportunity. And often town halls will draw the people who are upset about something and not the ones who want to, maybe the majority want to come and congratulate you for what you're doing. In terms of, if you're in the White House and thinking of, are there reasons we should fire Spicer, I don't think this gets into the top five. What he was saying awkwardly was a similar point that Chris Matthews had made in 2013, also about Assad, and that even Hitler hadn't used chemical weapons on the battlefield, which is true, but the error of both Spicer and Chris Matthews is that it wasn't because Hitler was, in that respect, a nicer fellow than Assad. It was because military experience in World War I had demonstrated that when the other side has gas masks, which both sides did in World War II, chemical weapons don't really get you very far. They're good for a surprise when the other side doesn't have gas masks, which is why Assad used them against a civilian population, but against soldiers who were prepared, it's kind of pointless. So it doesn't, contrary to what Spicer and Matthews think, it doesn't really show anything particularly about Assad's character versus Hitler's character, that one used him on the battlefield and the other didn't.
Penfield Tate, attorney with QTAC Rock. If you're Mike Coffman's advisor, does he need to have more town halls, even if he's going to get beat up and be on local TV getting these hard questions, or is it better to try to have a few less of them?
No, if you're Mike Coffman's advisor, first you need to make sure the public gives him his props for even having a town hall meeting, unlike his colleague Cory Gardner, who's doing the bob and weave with constituents and doing these telephonic town hall meetings. Mike took some hits, but I think he's going to gain credibility with his constituents because he stood there, looked them in the eye, and answered some tough questions. And they didn't like everything he had to say by way of answer, but he stood there in front of them and answered questions, which is more than can be said for Cory Gardner and some others. The other piece of this, Sean Spicer, I mean, he needs to go, but he's simply a reflection of part of what's been wrong with this administration up to this point, which is short on substance, unfortunately, and long on sloganeering and trying to be glib and cute. And in doing so, they have both been revealed their incompetence, but also offended and alienated people when it was absolutely unnecessary.
I can't imagine Melissa McCarthy's hosting of SNL tomorrow is going to do him any favors, but we'll see. Rounding up the panel, Erica Meltzer, assistant editor at denverite.com. Thanks for joining us. What did you think of both the comments about Sean Spicer, which kind of ended a pretty raucous town hall, and that wouldn't have been the headline. A lot of other comments made in town hall would have been if that didn't make national news. What did you make of everything?
I saw that there was a lot of folks on the left who are actually upset that the Spicer comments got all the attention. They wanted the headline to be Mike Coffman gets beat up and doesn't give real answers to these angry constituents. It was an interesting moment because when he got that question, I felt like he was going to start explaining what Spicer really meant, and then he kind of paused, and I don't know if he was reading the room or thinking, do I really want to defend this guy? And then he just said he needs to go, and it was a surprising moment, just a very frank moment.